Barbaracle gets a Mega Evolution in Pokemon Legends ZA, and it now goes from Rock Water to Rock Fighting. This is huge for Mega Barbaracle because it also now learns Close Combat. If we've learned anything from Terrakion, it's that Rock plus Fighting coverage is absolutely incredible. Now imagine that on a Shell Smash Pokemon that has base 140 attack, a base 130 defense stat, as well as base 106 special defense, and now been buffed to base 88 speed. Barbaracle has potential to be one of the craziest Shell Smash sweepers we've ever seen. So let's talk about it. I think it's so cool that Barbaracle got a Mega because it has potential to be the first insanely good Shell Smash Pokemon. Now don't get me wrong, we have a solid Shell Smash Pokemon in Poltergeist, but outside of that, it's kind of barren when it comes to this. We get it on a lot of fossils, but it doesn't end up doing anything good. Torterra was cool, but it wasn't a broken threat, right, at all. And then obviously Mega Blastoise is insane with it. If we like, that's obviously going to be insane, but the fact that this has potential to be just as nasty as Mega Blastoise, I think is crazy. Now, Barbaracle's Mega Evolution, it goes from being Rock Water to Rock Fighting. And it jumps from 105 to 140 base power, 115 to 130 defense, and then we have I don't know why they increase. Why the hell did you increase its special attack by 10? What did that do? But we go from 86 to 106 special defense, and then its speed is the big one, from 68 to 88 speed. This is now faster than a Great Tusk. It is now faster than a Great Tusk, and we're going to talk about why that's an important speed tier. But it is also one of the first Shell Smash Mons, again outside of Blastoise when it's running max speed, that can outspeed something like a Booster Energy Iron Valiant while still being strong, right? While still being incredibly strong with that. And you're just naturally faster than Great Tusk and below. So that gives you Samurott, that gives you Golden Go and Pokemon like that. But let's talk a little about Barb. So Barb got a little bit of buffs in Pokemon Legends EA. The first one is Close Combat. Yes, I'm tired of Low Kick, which is a good move admittedly, but it's only a good move depending on the opponent's weight. And then Cross Chop, which is a bad move. I'm tired of missing, and it 100% matters when it comes to a Pokemon that can Shell Smash. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance. Anyway, you only get one shot with this, right? It also got Waterfall. Waterfall is whatever. I guess it gives you a chance to flinch, which is pretty cool. It already had Liquidation, which is stronger. And I'm going to be honest, I want the stronger. Now, regular Barbaracle does have access to Tough Claws. We do not know what Mega Barbaracle's abilities would be, but it has a bunch of arms. I'm kind of hoping that means it has access to Tough Claws too. But the standard set will most likely be Shell Smash, Close Combat, assuming it still has access to it. And then you're going to run your... The biggest thing is that it's Rock Fighting, so it's Terrakion, right? But the biggest thing about being a Rock Fighting type is that you're plagued by your Rock move. All your Rock moves are going to always miss. You can trade off between Rock Slide and Stone Edge, but for the most part, you're going to miss. It's not really much you can do about that when it comes to this Pokemon. But it doesn't mean it's bad. But Close Combat, I think Liquidation should always be there. I think being able to hit Pokemon like Gliscor, Landorus, and just the like, without having to go for a Stone Edge, like to having a 100% accurate move, goes a long way in actually being able to beat them. And then the other option would most likely be your Stone Edge or your Rock Slide. Maybe they'll end up giving this Pokemon like Mighty Cleave or something, right? Like we finally got 100% accurate rock moves in Generation 9, but they're two moves that are locked. They're two different Pokemon. You got Ogre Capon with the Ivy Cudgel on the rock form, and then you got Mighty Cleave on Iron Boulder. But this Pokemon has insane potential because I think the biggest thing that's going to make it broken is the fact that you are going to run this thing on Veil, right? You are going to run this Pokemon on Veil. Now, I think Sand is going to be insane, but the fact that Aurora Veil, the big thing is you actually have stats prior to. So that 106 special defense is really big, right? Because obviously as a Mega Pokemon, you cannot run a White Herb because you're locked to your Mega Stone. So that 106 defense is very big when it comes to, or special defense, excuse me, is very big when it comes to Barb, because it means you can actually tank a Draco Meteor from Dragapult. As you can see, Specs is doing 88 to 104, so you can do a little bit of HP if you really want to. But the reason I put Dragapult as the example is because if you're running this on Veil, Dragapult typically runs Infiltrator. It goes back and forth between Clear Body and Infiltrator depending on if the whole meta is revolved around Sticky Webs versus not. But if you're running it on that, then you can actually tank the hit and then, you know, Shell Smash up from there. But there's a few calcs I want to talk about when it comes to Barbaracle, especially if it ends up keeping Tough Claws that make it one of the scariest wall breakers out there. The first calc is on max HP Great Tusk. Great Tusk at max HP does, it takes 97 to 115. So if rocks are up, Great Tusk straight up dies. That 130 defense is also really nice too because you are not weak to like Dark. Even Dark isn't even neutral on you, right? And you're also not weak to like Thunderclap. So the moving from Rock Fighting, or from Rock Water to Rock Fighting was really big, because then a King Gambit can't even revenge kill you. Look how this +6, right? You need King Gambit needs literally +6 and 5 dead to be able to kill you. Even if it has +4 or 5 dead, that one is not killing you. Just to show you just how that defense has really worked for this Pokemon. I also want to note that Barbaracle, obviously Shell Smash, I think is going to be the scariest one when it comes to it, but it has other options too. Like Barbaracle has both Swords Dance, and it also has access to Bulk Up too. So like it has crazy options. Now, am I saying those are going to be the better ones? Absolutely not. I think that Shell Smash is going to be the one that actually makes this thing scary. You're going to run it on screens. You could run it with Meowstic. Meowstic got a lot of buffs this generation with a bunch of hazards and screens, and has Prankster. So it's basically a Deoxys speed, but better. That also has access to priority taunt. So you can get spikes up, and you can run dual screens. And the funny thing about, the reason I mentioned Meowstic is because back in the day, in previous generations, Meowstic would use Mean Look plus Yawn to trap a Pokemon in. And then you'd go hard into Barbaracle as they fall asleep, and you Shell Smash up and they're asleep, right? They haven't burnt a turn. You Shell Smash up and then you win. That was how I've won like a lot in like Grand Slam qualifying for playoffs with that. So it was a crazy thing. And the fact that Barb just gets so much better is insane. I think they just gave it 10 more special attack because, not to use actual special moves or anything like that, but just because they didn't want to give even more broken. I feel like that's kind of what they're doing with some of these stats. They don't want to make them on even more broken. But I will say that 64 special attack might make a difference versus like defensive like why is this doing? Why does Tough Claws CC raw 2-shot? Like, it's crazy, right? Even if you're not Tough Claws, why does this do 42 to 40? Like, it's ridiculous. And obviously this does learn Grass Knot, so the Grass Knot is obviously 2-shotting as well, which is pretty cool. So you can close comment into that, and that's more like a draft tech, right? Like if you're running this Pokemon in draft, the metagame where we counter team each other, and you're fighting something like that. That's a crazy tech when it comes to this Pokemon. This is also interesting too, because you can also run Ice Beam on it as well if you don't want to get rid of, if you don't want to use like liquidation or stuff. And the 64 special attack is really interesting, just because, let's just see, Great Tusk or anything like that, right? You go +2 special attack, and you go like Ice Beam or something like that. Like, it's doing a good chunk, but I think the big targets are actually like Pokemon like Gliscor, defensive Gliscor, and this is max special defense Gliscor, but like defensive Gliscor and like defensive Lantern, so I have to worry about like going for liquidation, protect stalling, anything like that. I think just Barb just got, first off, it was also insane to fight like in the game itself, but Barb just got insanely strong, and I think Veil is going to be extremely good with this. And the fact that Barbaracle is faster than Iron Valiant, even with boost energy, is crazy. Like this mon has a fantastic speed tier. It has the bulk to be able to set up just to like, let's put this Earthquake from Gliscor, how little that does. Like, that's insane how little that does, even if I'm -1. Bro, that barely has a chance to kill. Obviously, if screen is up, if a reflect is up, like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then you can just liquidation, obviously. We don't know if it's going to have Tough Claws. I think any ability is going to be insane on this mon, right? As long as they're not giving you terrible abilities. But we do not know if it's going to have Tough Claws. And I'm very excited for Barbaracle. I think it's one of the Pokemon, it's just too handsome. It's one of the Pokemon that I think just has so much potential to always be good. And Shell Smash were always just lacking. And this thing solves everything about it, right? Fantastic stats, but more importantly, fantastic speed. Like, Torterra has comparable stats when it comes to, comparable, like, in terms of moves, right? Like, it has, but I mean, it has good attack, good defense, good special defense, right? And good HP, but it has just no speed to do it. And Poltergeist is just like a point slower than a lot of things, like base 110s with a Choice Scarf. And then obviously Blastoise, I mean, Mega Blastoise is a completely different story. Regular Blastoise is too weak to Shell Smash Sleep unless you're playing in random battles. And then Mega Blastoise is too strong to be allowed in the game. Like, that Pokemon is going to be banned to Ubers when it comes back and gets Shell Smash, because you have the Mega Launcher and everything like that. So I think Barbaracle is a beautiful mid-ground that makes Veil is usually considered cheese, right? Something that can't win in most cases, but this guy has the potential to just make it win. Like, I think the hardest part about Barbaracle is going to be like, bro, am I using this, or am I using Skarmory on my Veil, or Mega Skarmory on my Veil, which can do similar things with weak armor? But I just think that this guy gets it done. He absolutely gets it done. He's just so strong. One calc I do want to show is versus like Dondozo. Like, your close combat with Tough Claws is doing 31-41, which is insane damage, right? And it's like I said, Barb has access to Grass Knot. Barb also has access to, I believe, Taunt, if I'm not mistaken, yet, because I use Taunt with it as well. This is a National Next one, so ignore Toxic and things like that too. But it's just, Barb has so much potential, and I'm very, very excited. And the fact that you can pick and choose what you want to deal with, it's just going to be so crazy. Rock fighting is, while it's weak to fairy, being resistant to dark and also not being weak to, wow, raging bolts. Couldn't place you for a second. Not being weak to like raging bolts thunderclap is huge. It's absolutely huge. Obviously, you'll be -1 in the case, but the fact that it can't, like if you were a regular Barbaracle, you'd have to Shell Smash again to try and outplay the thunderclap. For this one, it can't. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on Mega Barbaracle. I'm very excited about this Pokemon. I think it's going to be so cool. And also, if you guys want to, feel free to pick up my brand new stainless steel ice shaker, 40 ounces, keeps the cold stuff cold. It's the Mega Draco as well. But I also do have merchandise available that's embroidered. My embroidered Pokeaim Greninja, Dragonite, and Victory Bell hoodies. Really nice quality as well. And yeah, you can use code AIM to save 10%. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you everybody for watching. That's it. Peace.